Hey everybody, it's Tyler with Gaia Force Gaming, and we just got back from the North American Bandai Fest in Orlando. So we did Nats. Nats was pretty good. It was pretty good for me. I took Purple Hybrid Apoc. I know I haven't put up a lot of gameplay videos lately just because of the holidays. I didn't have a lot of footage. The holidays did fall on days that my locals ended up being closed. So I've been absent for a couple weeks, but I've been grinding, practicing. I did play in an Eagles Nest the week before Nationals. I did end up going 4-0-1, taking first place with this deck. At Nationals, we did 9 rounds. My final record was 7-1-1. I did go into day 2 as 7th place. I believe 7th place, and I ended up losing in top 16 on stream against Momin, who did end up coming 2nd place. Congrats to Momin, Donkey Nog. Go check out his channel. I'm sure he'll put up a video or something. So with him coming 2nd place, that makes my final placing 10th, as I lost to him in the top 16 bracket. So between 9 and 16, I have the 2nd highest tiebreakers. So 10th place. 10th place for Nationals, not bad. I wanted to do a deck profile, go over my matchups, talk about the event. You know, content creator stuff. So I guess we'll just get into it. I brought Purple Hybrid Apoc. I did like the way Purple Hybrid played. I was testing into Purple Hybrid with like the Mother Beelstar version, which I did like the way it played, but I hated how reactive it was. And then I did the Shoto Mother Dark Masters version, which I liked a little bit more. I thought that it gave like a better finality. But I didn't like how reactive the Shoto Mother core was in the deck. How if my opponent played smart and didn't give me things to play off of, didn't give me colors on board, I couldn't really advance my board state. Or sometimes didn't even have the option to like aggro them down, as even my memory gain kind of relied on them having Digimon. So in the end, I ended up going with the Dark Masters version with rookies like Ukomon Engine, and some other little things that I really did enjoy, that I tried in the deck after seeing here and there, or just thought of trying in the deck, and it worked out really well for me. I really like the way this deck plays. I don't know if there's anything I would change, especially now we're about to change formats, so the deck will probably change overall. I'm probably going to stay on Purple Hybrid for a little bit just because I have so much practice with it. It would don't have the time or energy to switch archetypes too drastically, but we're going into a new season, so I gotta earn an invite right away. Get to the next card fest. So let's start with the eggs. We do play the 4 of the BT3 Demi-Meramon. Draw 1, discard 1. Some purple hybrids. Oh, I'm off screen. Whoop. 4 of the BT3 Demi-Meramon. Some purple hybrid decks do run more Cupimon for the memory gain. I found when I tried that I had a ton of memory but nothing to do with it, and just the way I like to play this deck, I like to nearly deck myself out. If I see all my pieces, I should be able to find a path to victory. That being said, my 5th egg is not the Cupimon. It is the BT15 Demi-Meramon, the one that lets you pitch a level 5 to level 5 or higher to draw 2 cards. Again, I just want to dig through my deck. This also puts a Dark Master in trash, and I have a couple other things in the deck that can be pitched with it that helps out. Sometimes I would kind of tunnel vision that I did have this, which was a little rough because I would like discard my only level 6 to one of these, and then I'd hatch this, and I'd be like, oh, duh, I'm a silly boy. But just be cognizant of that. It didn't hinder me too much. Sorry about my voice. I was screaming for Moment in finals, because that is the boy. So then our rookies, we have 4 of the Ukomon, the Searcher Ukomon. It just helps dig for pieces, which is one of the biggest parts of this deck. We have a single promo Ukomon. I almost did drop the promo Ukomon, but I did like the fact that it hatched an egg, which gives you sometimes a purple color on board, but mostly that aggression. Some matchups you do want to put a lot of pressure on them so that they're forced to put things on board. But this was almost another rookie just of choice. It could be just tailor to your preference. In game 1 of the top 16 match, it did kind of screw me because I was digging for a kill spell, and I did have to evolve my only purple source at the time, which was the egg, into this Ukomon. Very anecdotal, very, very slim chances this would happen. And then I did draw the rivals off that, but I had no way to play it. But again, your mileage may vary. We got to have some floodgates in here. I went with 3 Gazi. The thing was, it could have been the 4th from this Ukomon. Gazi helps a lot against Mirage, a lot, specifically Galaxy Mirage. I did play a Galaxy Mirage, and just having Gazi, they don't have a great way to out it, and it really hinders their entire deck plan. So, and then I do play 2 Phascos. I did really like Phasco for when you are a little bricked up. Having a Phasco over a Demimera, just draw 2, pitch 2, or rather draw 1, pitch 1, draw 1, pitch 1, really can help you get to some better pieces that can forward your game plan a lot better. And then I did end up making space for a 1 of Guillaumon. I wanted to try it out. He did come in clutch at least 2 games at Fest, and just countless games other than that, because you could get him back with rivals, you can get him back with Matt. Towards the end of the game, he could just push your aggression to another level. Like, he can make you win games out of things that should normally take you another turn to win. So I did really like that. So that's 5, 8, 10, 11 rookies. Not bad. I did like this rookie lineup, especially for not just Dark Masters, but builds in where you want to self-mill to get to a finality point. Like maybe more reactive builds like Merva, you're not as much on that. But I did really enjoy this rookie lineup. Level 4 is a little straightforward. We are playing purple hybrids, so we have the 4 Dusk, we have the 4 Velgar, and that's the entire level 4 lineup. You're looking for one of each of these as soon as possible. Oh god, I'm off screen again. You're looking for one of each of these as soon as possible. Things to remember, Duskmon changing colors can just be like a little floodgate effect. You don't always have to do it to go into the Velgar. There was a game where was it in the top 16 where I should have just evolved to the Duskmon to change the color of his stack, because then he would have been locked out of evolving, and would have bought me probably a turn. But anyway, you go into the Dusk, make it so they can't ace, make it so they can't Levia X from their trash, make it so just keep in mind that colors do come up a lot more than people think. Just be very cognizant of black box evolutions, because sometimes the color doesn't matter. It does stay until the end of the next turn, so if you hit a Tamer, they can't hybrid over it either unless they have a black box evolution for a name. But yeah, Duskmon and Velgarmon, really, really strong cards. A little overtuned, in my opinion. I have 1 of Argo as my only level 5. I was ready for the mirror. I was ready for red hybrid. I was ready for any kind of hybrid deck. Didn't come up as a silver bullet. I didn't play any mirror matches, any other hybrid decks, but it did come up in a game where I used it to suspend Tamers to stay at keep my turn and swing with retaliation over the Velgar. I still got a Tamer back. I got to use analog youths, which usually don't have much of a use in my deck other than search. And it was just an overall play that I don't think my opponent was expecting, and it pulled me a little bit ahead. So there's that. My level 6s, I have the Dark Master package, just 1 of each. 1 of each is enough in this deck. I think you will see it. You're drawing most of your deck most every game, with the exception of me on stream where I only saw white sources. You're a cycle monster. I have a 1 of level 6 of Magnadramon, which was the undisputed MVP. Going into Apoc with this underneath will shut down most decks' entire turn. So it was just really, really strong having the Magnadramon. Also, don't forget about these effects. If you're really bricked up, I believe there was a game where I did just play Puppet to put my opponent to like 7, but I answered his decks, and he was just kind of like, ooh, what do I do now? I built this stack and couldn't protect decks. It's bottom decked, and bleh. Of course, we had the level 7, the Apocalypse Man. He just gets the crust, but that's enough for him. And it's just a really strong tool to deck your opponent out or to just put a big body on the board that they have to answer. You can end the game with this. If you get it really early, it also puts a lot of pressure on your opponent as they deck out, 6 to 10 cards, and then they have to deal with it because otherwise you're going to just keep milling them another 6 to 10 every turn, especially as you find those level 6s. I know Risu said in the big thing, why not play Merva as well? Because you could trigger it under Apoc. Triggering it under Apoc is fine. I didn't have space for like a small Merva engine. I thought it would make me bricked up, and it would be a choice over the Magna, which we did toy with it, but I ended up really liking the Magna more than the Merva. It came up in more situations, where if I was running a one of Merva, it would probably have 2 ignites over the Phascos, and then it might slow the deck down a bit. It's like, yeah, it's another 2 mils off this, but you could only ever, if you put the Merva under the Apoc, get 1 Digimon. So it's like you just put the Velgar under Apoc, and it's 2 less mils, but it's I don't know if getting the brick would be worth it. You never have a ton of memory in this deck either, up until you do the Jack Raid loop and win anyway. Then we have the Tamer lineup, pretty standard. We have the 4 Koichi, draw 1, pitch 1, 2 of the new Koichi that lets you loop back hybrids. It is very strong. I had it at 3 for a minute, and I think it is what I cut to put in the Guilmon. Just because once you get one of these in trash, you could grab it when you need it with the Duskmon Inheritable, and that felt fine. The ability to gain memory under Floodgates is very powerful. But yeah, just 2. 4 of the mat. You could do 3. You could do 3 and 3. I like 4 because mat is such a great tool to recycling pieces and just starting loops, getting back things you need, getting back one-ofs. It could get the Guilmon, it could get the Argo, it could get any option. It's pretty strong. I utilized Analog Youth as a tool. I did have missed memory boost in here, and I did kind of miss the delay gain memory. But what Analog Youth does is it lets you grab anything off of your searches. So if you need a random color Dark Master, you're not bottom decking it. If you need a Pokemon, you're not bottom decking it, and you are filling the trash with a different 2. Instead of mill 2, draw 1, and rolling the dice that last one is something you need, you are milling 3, taking one of your choice, which always felt good. And it's like, if you get rid of options, that's fine because you have mat to recycle them. If you get rid of Tamers, that's fine because you have the Inheritable to recycle them. Overall, I did like Analog Youth as a tool in this specific deck. I don't know if I'd put it in every purple hybrid deck, but I did really like it in this deck. And then for my options, I played 3 Jack Raid, 3 Death Slinger, 3 Rivals Barrage. So a 3-3-3 split is where I ended up on. There was a moment when I tried 2 Rivals Barrage instead of 3 to up the Jack Raid count, but overall, I thought that Rivals Barrage was really important as a security bomb in this meta against Takamiku, against Mirage, against Levia, just having a couple of these. Deathslinger 2, I did consider cutting altogether for some other pieces, but just that high roll of milling it and gaining the memory, or having it in security as a bomb, because you just need 20 in trash to kill a level 6. 30 gets a little rough. You're not really killing a 7 with this often, but 6 happens a lot more than it should, if I'm being honest with you. So there is that as well. Also, just early game, sometimes answering a Floodgate with a Deathslinger doesn't feel too bad. And the last 2 cards of the deck are Calling for Darkness and Lament of Friendship. Just some recycle cards. Calling on an empty board can get you back Double Dusk, which could start a pretty big loop. Lament is how you get back Apocalypse, or anything else if it comes up. If it gets hit in security, you could just grab a piece you need. But sometimes using Lament to grab the Apocalypse to push through an Apocalypse loop could be pretty backbreaking. So this is what I ran. I really like this deck. I don't know if I'd change it at all for this format. There were a couple things I might play a little differently going in with a new perspective. I did also have matchups I was more or less prepared for. Going in, I was very worried about red hybrid. I thought it could be a little too fast if they high roll, especially if they run the Alderman. That stops security bombs. But my matchups were round 1, I played 7 Demon Lords, which I think is almost unlosable for my deck. As long as I don't navigate it very poorly, as long as I simply try to answer everything they put on the board to slow down their engine. And by the time they get going, I can either deck them out or push for victory with like a loop of swings. I have the analog youths, which are chaff that if they make me pop a tamer, if I don't feel like trashing a security or giving them a recovery, I could pop an analog youth. But usually I would give them the recovery to give them one less deck size because it puts me that much closer to decking them out. Round 2, I played Takamiku. I believe this was the player who ended up 3rd place in Swiss. And we had a very grindy, very close game 1 that I ended up... I believe I won game 1. Game 2, another very grindy, very close game that he ended up squeaking out. It was one or the other. We had 2 very grindy, close games that were back-to-back. And then game 3, he opened absolutely nuts, did the Takamiku thing, and got me to 0 life like by turn 3, which is what the deck's designed to do. So that's fair and valid. That's what his deck should do in a perfect world, and he had the perfect game. So can't do nothing about those. Again, people might be salty about decks like that. I'm not. If you build a deck and you say to yourself, 1 in every 10 to 12 games, I'm just going to absolutely stomp, but 1 in every 10 to 12 games, I'm going to brick. That's the risk you pay. We always have that recency bias that they just popped off. They just stumble into the win. No, they definitely brick into a loss just as often. We just remember the really crazy ones, and we tend to forget that they brick because everyone can brick. That being said, my deck can pop off into craziness and also brick, so that's the game we're playing. So at that point, I was 1-1. The following round, I played against a Magna X, which I'm very comfortable with that matchup. I play against it a lot at locals. I played Magna X myself, so I'm familiar with its lines of play. I did end up getting that one 2-0. And then I queued into another Magna X right after that. Very, very good games. We ended up drawing. We went 1-1-1 in time. I do think if it kept going, he probably would have won because he had a Quartz on board. And I was trying to get my way out of it. I just didn't have... Just gameplay-wise, I couldn't get through the gameplay loop enough with the time we had left in the final turn. So we ended up drawing. So I was 1-1-1. After that, I played... So how many rounds is that? That's 3 rounds? 1-1-1? Or 2-1-1. That's 4 rounds. After that, I played Galaxy Mirage. He wiped me game 1. Not super fast, slowly. I opened pretty unplayable. Just very, no rookies, analog use, couldn't grab rookies, just slow. He was able to build up. I was hoping I would get to a point where he searched his deck enough that once I stabilized, I could deck him out, but I just didn't get there in time. So he did end up winning game 1. Game 2, again, I opened very slow, very, very hard to play. He went into a Hex to bottom deck a Mat. When he hit security, he had a Tamer and a Rivals, which kind of brought me back a little bit. And then he went into a Mirage later when I had a Ghazi in the back. His swing with just Mirage for chip was a Jack Raid that put it into my turn. I went to 3, pushed up the Ghazi, so he couldn't gain memory, and I was able to just pop off on that turn. And then game 3, I opened a double Ghazi Uko and just slammed them all and accumulated what I needed to win. So that was round 5. Round 6, I played Ben on black decks. Super good game, super good guy. I got game 1. It was a pretty grindy game 1, but I didn't end up getting it. Into game 2, also a very grindy game 2. He played it very smart, very methodically. Black-based decks can be tricky because you want to deck them out, but that only helps their game plan as well. But at the end of game 2, he had a scramble and I was able to get him to deck out point and then take all of the Digimon off my field, which means that he was unable to utilize the scramble, and he decked out. So that was round 6. Round 7, I played 7, 8, 9. What did I play round 7? Oh no. I want to say I played Mirage? I played Mirage, yeah. I played a Mirage deck round 7. I ended up getting that game. I was really worried about the Mirage matchup too, because it can be hard when they hit your Tamers in security. Almost all of your Tamers give you a card. So when they're in their Blast Evolution, it just unsuspends them for you. But I did end up taking that game. No, I'm sorry. I'm the worst. I didn't play Mirage round 7. I played Mun Fusion round 7. 3 Great Angels. This one I was scared of because he's the best 3 Great Angels player, in my opinion, in North America. He plays the deck super well. At least, okay, I haven't played against it that often. When I test with him, he's been playing it so tight. So I was worried because he knows his deck back and front. He did get game 1. I was able to snag game 2. And then game 3, I grinded him out. And I think I ended up being able to win by just being aggressive at a point where he didn't have the blocker inherited. Like I saw that he didn't, and I really pushed for the advantage on that. Stretching what was possible with the Duskmon color switches just to answer his possible answers. So that was a really, really close game, a really good game. After that, I played Benihana. Forgot his Discord and TCG Plus name. We played in the Eagle's Nest, and he was my draw from the Eagle's Nest, playing black decks. Funny enough, it was a very similar situation to the Ben situation, where Ben didn't tunnel vision it. In game 2, he kind of tunnel visioned that he had the scramble, and he taunted the Apoc and answered the Apoc after I decked him out. When I had to swing with the Apoc, he did his Dex Loop to block, pop the Apoc, and then when he went to his turn, he's like, now I'll activate Scramble, and then I was like, oh, I don't have Digimon on the field. He's like, oh, that's right, and just lost to a deck out because he didn't leave any Digimon on my field, so he could not activate the delay, which is bad beats, but you know, competition, the nerves get to you. I, for what it's worth, against Ben, also tunnel vision that. I was thinking forever how to answer the following turn when I just could have passed turn and won, so it was kind of karma paying me back for my tunnel vision, letting me know that other people also get the tunnel vision. And then in the final round, I played Mirage, and I got game 1 pretty quickly by rushing him down. He got game 2 pretty quickly. Game 3, it was pretty neck and neck. I had him down to 1 security or maybe even 0, and he got into his blast. He hit the first security check with his unsuspend. It was something inconsequential. Second check, he had no way to, or he did a Galmon, added card, second check, unsuspend. It was something like a Jack Raid, but he might have had a Madoki on board. Did his third check, it was a Mat, so I added a card back to my hand. I believe I got the Jack Raid back. He was able to go another loop. He hits Koichi, draw 1 discard. He was able to go another loop. At this point, I have 1 security. He swings, able to unsuspend 1 last time. And I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. And he hits the Rivals as the last security check, which then he just passes turn with a Tamer. And I'm able to just win on the following turn thanks to Guilmon. I was able to I don't think I even needed Jack Raid. I was able to just do a Duskmon Velger loop, and then Jack Raid to Guilmon. And that was it. That was Swiss 7-1-1. Really good games, really great players all around. My matchups were not quite what I was expecting. I dodged the mirror. I dodged red hybrid, but there wasn't a lot of red hybrid representation in general, from what I was seeing around me. But overall, pretty diverse matchups. into top 32, I played against 7 Great Demon Lords. With the only difference, we had open deck lists for top 32, so we were able to see exactly what our opponents were playing. And my opponent had a Moon Millennium Mon tech, which I was a little scared of, very cognizant of my hand and field at all times, because I did not want to get blown out by the Moon Millennium Mon. But he ended up not seeing it. Game 1, he did, do his normal loops, do his normal gameplay that he wants to be doing. And I do recognize that when he went to give me the choice to blow up a Tamer or recover, I let him recover, and he said that he thought that was weird. And then I ended up winning by deck out, and he said, "Oh yeah, Purple Hybrid normally just rushes me down." And I said, "Oh, it was like, if I don't have a really good way to do it, I'm going for deck out because I don't want to give you names in your trash." And he's like, "That's smart." And then game 2, just the same thing. I just got him to deck out pretty quickly. That was a very good game, very good opponents. And then I was told I would be on stream with Momin, and that was a great moment. Me and him were super hyped, but bummed to play each other. It was cool that, two people that like hype each other up get to play each other on stream, but it was pretty uncool that one of us had to end our run there. You could watch the stream. I recommend it. They were very close games. I'm not sure how exciting they were to watch, but they were very exciting to play. Game 1, I opened a bunch of Ukos and Analogs. I got him very low very quickly, but I could not close out before he stabilized. Once he had the Levi X on board, I couldn't answer it because I had all white and my removal is purple. No purple Tamers game 1 whatsoever, which was rough, but he played it super smart. He was very, very good with his memory manipulation and what he leaves on board. Very, very, very good player, very good plays. Game 2, I just kept getting put to 1 with Ghazi, and I didn't have time to drop the mat because I had to answer his threats. So he was very good at putting pressure on board in a way that limited... I was stuck at 1 action per turn, essentially, while he was getting 2 to 3, and he just got the resource economy in his favor to a point that I needed a lucky security to get back in the game. On that final turn, if I did see a lucky security, I think I did have it, but that's the game. I didn't have the lucky security. He was able to swing out and win after successfully denying me resources for that game 2, and he went on to win the next 2 games and lose in the finals, and he's our 2nd place champion going to Japan. So congrats to Momin, Donkey Nog on YouTube. Congrats to all the competitors. It was so much fun. So much of the test group made top 16, made it to day 2. So much of the people that we play with all the time, that we test with, we have Young, we have Eddie, we have Antics, we have Momin, we have Umlum made top 32, the only Imperial to make it through. Congrats to Umlum. I believe I saw Spent Spark was top 32. Who else? Let's pull up the graphics. Let's see who's there. I have it saved here. Anyway, we just had so many people. If I forgot you, I'm sorry. Lance, Giratana's Gaming. Don't mind this mess. I gotta organize some stuff, but it's just crazy. Like the test group we play with, the regular players. Sack Isaac, 1st place Swiss with Mirage. Crazy. Marky Fresh. I've been playing since the beginning. He was one of my losses last year at Nats. He made it. Joey. We just, man, so many familiar faces. It really shows that dedication and practice pays off. And just, yeah, I love Digimon. I wore the shirt. Dan voted for this. He wore the shirt. Chris, thank you. I'm glad I started talking about the team. Chris P made it to top 32 as well, losing in the 1st round. So it's just crazy. Chris is the guy who beat my ass all week leading into this event, why I was so scared of Mirage, because I felt like I could not beat Mirage, but I think it's just that I cannot beat Chris because he's that much better than me. Yeah, it was a really fun time. The event, I know the side events were a little scuffed from what I heard. The main event ran super smooth, invite only. While it does lower the number of participants, which like on paper make it look like it's not successful, remember that these are all people who made top 16 or got an invite passed down throughout the year. And while I do think there should be some more regional events, that means that we had a very elite, very deserving event. Everyone at Nats deserved to be there. I felt like we definitely had the top 200 some players in North America who were able to attending, and it could have been anyone's game. Anyone there could have won it. Onion did end up taking it with 7 Demon Lords, which is awesome. Pretty hyped that it was 7 Demon Lords and not Mirage. It would have been just as hyped if it was Levia, which was my, fun fact, my secondary pick for if I didn't like Purple Hybrid. I would have been on probably pretty close to what Momin was playing, because, you know, I test with Alex all the time, and he had been hyping up Levia, just like I'm sure he was hyping it up to Momin, and what made Momin fall in love with it originally. Yeah, it was a surreal experience. Being on stage was awesome. Seeing everyone's support was really awesome. I wanted to take so many pictures. I did not get a chance to. I spent the entire time just playing for day 1 and day 2. That's the one thing I regret, is I was so keyed in and so undistractable. I wish I had taken more time to take pictures, to talk to people. I didn't even see my own locals who were there, other than when they were in the front row cheering me on stream. Thank you guys. Thank you, Joe, Justin, Eric, Gavin. Yeah, that meant it was. I literally almost cried when I looked and saw that there were people there cheering me on, and it was just surreal. Being on stage is crazy. They don't let you fan your trash out, which sucks. For me, playing a trash-based deck, that you have to lay your deck straight, which is also really annoying because I'm so used to sideways drawing. But that's production. I can't blame them. They want it to look great. It did look great. Please go watch the stream. It was such a good production. Shoutouts to DigiPanda. Shoutouts to Ryan the Neighbor. Shoutouts to True Champion Steven. You guys were a great commentary cast. Everything was awesome. Fest was awesome. It got me really hyped for Bandai products. I wish I could have checked out UA stuff more. I wish I could have checked out Gundam stuff more. Just to support them. I'm not super interested in the Gundam card game, but I do like Gundam as an IP, and they had a lot of cool stuff. Overall, I had a great time. I can't wait for the next fest. I can't wait for Gen Con. Just so you guys know, I will always be at Gen Con. I will always be at the January fest. Depending on when the August fest is, I might have to miss it because of Gen Con. But those are the big in-person things that I will always be at. If you have any pictures of me or with me from this weekend, please send them to me. If you have any comments, questions, whatever. There will be more gameplay videos soon. I believe EX8 starts right away, so we're going to try and get those, bam, on the channel ASAP within the next week or so. My locals is in 2 days, so we'll see how that goes. I got some catching up in the personal life to do. Now that I'm back from work, I got to put out a bunch of fires. But I had a great time. Thank you for everyone who supported me. Thank you for everyone who said congrats. 10th place North America does feel pretty good. I wish I could have taken it further, but I can't be mad because everyone in that top 32 was so cool, so humble, so gracious, and just a great player. So everyone who got where they got deserved it, and more. And thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I love Digimon. I voted for this. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.